Hey guys, Joel asked me to do a quick video to encourage the connection group leaders up there at Candeo about maybe what's the most important thing that you could bring to the table as a leader of a connection group. And I've been in the book of Matthew lately, and I'm really struck by Matthew 23, where it says, Jesus spoke to the crowds and to his disciples. The scribes and the Pharisees are seated in the chair of Moses. Therefore, do whatever they tell you and observe it. But don't do what they do, because they don't practice what they teach. They tie up heavy loads that are hard to carry and put them on people's shoulders, but they themselves aren't willing to lift a finger to move them. So the indictment is clearly, these guys know what they're talking about, know the Bible, should follow what they say, don't do what they do, and it's a strong indictment. Jesus is revolted, it says at one point, by this aspect of the Pharisees. What I'm saying is, to be the kind of leader and teacher that Jesus would commend, you've got to not only be able to teach others, but live it out. So that if they do follow you home, if they do watch your life, they're going to see that there's no disparity between what you're teaching them and what you're living in your own life. Following that up, we've been in the book of Matthew with the Sermon on the Mount also. And it's intriguing to me, never noticed this before, but at the very end of Matthew chapter 7, so the very last part of the Sermon on the Mount, here's the conclusion, the final words of Matthew 7. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them is like a sensible man who built his house on the rock. The rain fell, the rivers rose, and the winds blew and pounded that house, yet it didn't collapse because its foundation was on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and doesn't act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain fell, the rivers rose, the winds blew and pounded that house, and it collapsed, and its collapse was great. Guys, the most important thing you can do for your connection group is to teach them not only to read and understand the Word, but to live it out, to do something because they've heard and understood what Jesus is teaching them. To not do that, to not lead your people, to actually live out, to not just be hearers of the Word, but doers also, the way James talks about it, is to actually put them in a more precarious place than had they never heard it at all. So my encouragement is, be people of the Word, and that doesn't mean just knowing it. It's practice it, live it. Let your life display the transforming truth of Jesus Christ, and I promise you, you will have a monster impact on all those that God has given you as a stewardship. So love you guys. I love what's going on up there at Candeo. Can't wait to hear more of the God stories that are going to come out. But you guys are in a critical place. You're the ones that are going to be able to see the transforming work in the hearts and lives of God's people. So go in grace.